welcome to another episode of the StateSideReds. We've got Ronaldo and Mr. Green today. Unfortunately, no Mikey. But yeah, let's kick things off with the big news today. Ben Jacobs coming out and announcing that Victor Gyökeres is willing to sign for Manchester United if we can afford him. Ronaldo, I'll start off with you. How are you feeling about this? I don't think it can happen this year.
Talking about the big boy Gyokeres.
Mm-hmm.
That is great news. We keep getting surprises this week, right? This has been a good week in the rumor mill, if you will.
Yeah.
People are deciding, they want to take on the challenge, playing with a 15-place side and try to get us back to glory. I mean, we got the news about Mbeumo on Monday, and now the main man that we think we would have surely gotten already if we were in the Champions League. But, maybe we just need to move things around, move a little furniture around, and 𝗕𝙊𝙍𝙀 could get his man, and is a very important player. Center forward, a position we're struggling at right now. So that's great news, and let's, if it's to happen, I hope it happens quick because I don't want to get this drawn into July with my emotions. So. If this is so, if we could get it done as quick as possible, great. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, from what I'm hearing today, it may go into July, just because I learned a little bit about the Cunha deal. So today, I learned today that Cunha's deal doesn't take effect until the 1st of July. It won't be effective until next year. So it looks like the Mbeumo deal would be doing the same. And then Victor Gyökeres, whatever we do, I honestly think we might have to make a sale before that happens. But if United know that bids are coming in for other players, I think they might just bite the bullet and go for it and just hope and pray that one of ours can be done. Mr. Green, what's your thoughts on the Gyökeres?
Super excited. He would have been my first choice. I actually took him over 𝗕𝙁𝙍𝙀, just because he has played in the Premier League before. He knows the physicality, he knows the pace, he knows the speed, the skill level. And let's face it, his year this year was outstanding. I think we're sitting at 59 total goal contributions. The guy is a sniper, turning 27. And it's exactly what we need at United, is somebody who could put the ball in the net. And he's going to have the right supporting cast with Mbeumo and Cunha and Bruno as the number 8. Yeah, just looking forward to it. It's so early in the transfer window, lots of exciting stuff going on, and waiting as the summer goes on to see the small pieces, the supporting cast that Manchester United slips in here and there.
Yeah, I think if you can get Cunha, Gyökeres, and Mbeumo. Good morning, Stephanie. Just stopped in. She says potential modern day United Trinity. I agree. So if you take into account all 3 goals, right? All 3 players, how many goals? They got 80 goals last season between them. 59 for Gyökeres, 20 from Mbeumo, 15. So what's that? 85. If we can get half of that, because I'm not expecting Gyökeres to be putting up 60 goals in the Premier League and FA Cup and Carabao Cup. If we can get half of the amount of goals that we got this year from these potential 3, there's no reason why, for me, we can't finish in the top 4. But we'll get into that in a little bit. That is one of our talking points. And you're right, it's a trinity. It reminds me of United, and I'm not even going to try and compare them to Rooney, Ronaldo, and Tevez. But it's that thought of having 3 good players. It's the first time in a long time that I've looked at a front 3 for Man United and gone, wow. Wow. And that's something that's great. And I'm going to put my hands up. I'm going to say, well done, Ineos. Well done, Ineos. Because of all the shit that they've done, that we've given them crap for, this would never have happened in the previous regime. It just wouldn't have happened. So it looks like we'll talk about the Gyökeres. I've got a strong feeling that the Mbeumo deal will be another bid will go in tomorrow. It'll get done probably by the end of the day tomorrow. They don't usually do anything at the weekend, so Monday probably accepting the deal. Can you guys? I know we've only got 5 days left of the transfer window. Can you see a bid getting put in for Gyökeres before then? Ronaldo, I'll start with you.
All depends on how strong Ineos' pimping is, I guess, because if they can pull that off, that means they had things lined up really well, you know. Hopefully we see the deal with Mbeumo on Monday. And hey, if they know once they could do that, they could do this. Hopefully that is signing Gyökeres. And if they could do that, you know, before the Club World Cup, I'll be great, you know, way before preseason. So you could probably, you know, move in, get acclimated, everything, and hit preseason training on the ground running. Another thing too about the Club World Cup, a lot of teams there will come back with money. Because that's what it is, you know, it's a big old money grab. I'll catch a few games. So I don't know if I'll go to the stadium, but I'll catch a few games on TV. But yeah, people will be coming back with a little more money in the transfer kitty. So you know, I don't know how hairy or competitive the transfer window will get after the Club World Cup. So and if we could seal those 3 big deals before, you know, we're going in the rest of the summer coasting. We get get our sales in order and maybe get another CDM, another 8, something like that, and go from there.
Yeah, Mr. Green, what's your thoughts on? Do you think we can get a bid in before in the next 5 days? And we got remember, you got to take into the weekend. They don't really do business on the weekend, so technically we only have 3 days to get
3 business days.
3 business days to get at least a bid in. Do you think that can happen?
I do. I really do. So I know 𝗕𝙁𝙍𝙍 had made a promise to Sporting when he left that he wouldn't meddle, you know, with any players until the season was over. Well, Sporting season is over. And I would like to think that before 𝗕𝙁𝙍𝙍 had left for United, that he'd had a discussion with a few of these players. And I think Gyökeres was one of them. You know, this whole thing about Champions League football, I never heard him say it. So I do think like he's got some redemption to claim here in the Premier League, right? Arsenal doesn't want him. They've focused their attention to Sesko. I think that might be a bit of a slap in the face for him. And now he's like, you know what? Forget Arsenal. Let's do the United deal. Let's, you know, because he credits 𝗕𝙁𝙍𝙍 for kickstarting his goal-scoring career in Portugal. And I do. I think there was a gentlemanly agreement before 𝗕𝙁𝙍𝙍 left, and I think he's got an agreement with the Man United brass to say, hey, listen, you know, when I come, you want 𝗕𝙁𝙍𝙍 football, this is what I need. Yeah. And I think I think Gyökeres was a part of that deal. And I think there's a couple other pieces at Sporting that are going to come with him, more low key. You know, because if you think, I know I'm older than everybody, but if you think back to when Mourinho first went to Chelsea, he brought 3 low-key Porto players with him, right? Paulo Ferreira, Deco, and Carvalho, the center back, right? They all went on, except for Ferreira, to bigger and better things, Barcelona, Real Madrid. But those 3 helped turn that franchise around, right? That club around like that. So I do think that there'll be a couple more. Sporting's cupboard's going to be bare by the time 𝗕𝙁𝙍𝙍's done with them. But, you know, and another caveat to all of this is Gyökeres' release clause, right? It's significantly lowered. It's £62 million because
62 million euros.
Because he struck a deal with Sporting saying, I'll stay 1 more year. And you guys lower the release clause from 100 million down to 62.
Yeah. So you're looking at around 58 million pounds for Gyökeres. Yeah, just a couple of comments. Stephanie saying aim every season, must 76 Premier League points and 76 Premier League goals bare minimum. I can see this front three getting that. And when I say these front three, let's not forget we're talking about Bruno behind, who just had the most chances created in the Premier League this year. So imagine him feeding those 3. Imagine, and then you've also got Ahmed on the right wing back. You know, this could be a very, very, and if everything clicks, and I expect it to pretty quickly, right? Because the 210s Premier League proven. Gyökeres is just he's gonna have the preseason if he comes in. He's gonna have the preseason to gel with the 10s. Also, all 3 of those front 3 already play this system, so they don't have to learn the system. They already know the system. for me, it's a very, very exciting thing, and I haven't been this excited to be a Man United fan in a very long time. Because I honestly, truly believe if they can click, there's no reason we don't finish top 4, possibly push for a title next year. I'm being serious, deadly serious. Like, tell me why those front 3 who got 85 goals this year, with Bruno behind, who got 16 in all competitions, and then Ahmed as a right wing back. Tell me why we can't get 76 goals with all of the players on the team. I don't see why not. Couple more. We got 2 Ronaldos. We got Ronaldo and then Ronaldo. I think we also get Gyökeres. Arsenal are likely moving forward with Sesko. Chelsea has Ďalab and Liverpool are pushing for Nketiah. Barca president also said he won't go for a striker. Yeah. Stephanie saying we ideally need a monster box central midfielder too. We do. It looks like the Atlanta guy, he looks like he's got off to Saudi. Cheese is saying kaboom, get in, Thursday blessing. Rajat, yo. Wyatt echoing. It's something to do with my mic. I apologize. I'm gonna sort it in a bit. I'm not quite sure why it's echoing, but I'll fix it at some point. Mark Cheese, we're winning the league. Get excited to win the league, man. I don't see why. Like, you've got a Liverpool team who just did very, very well this year, but they've got 2 33-year-olds in that team now who are on $500,000 each. They're looking to go for a new number 10, 130.
Yeah, looking to get Wirtz. Yep.
Yeah, looking to get Wirtz for 130. They want 150 million euros. He's not worth 150 million euros for me. That's insane.
That's not wild either. That's not too wild. I mean, 130 sounds wild, but 100 for sure. Yeah. I think that's where you start with.
Well, they already turned down the 120.
Yeah, they want to get paid. I mean, I don't want to say the team's over, but championships may be over for Leverkusen for a while.
Yeah, they're getting drained.
Once they lose Wirtz, that's, I think, yeah.
But it
he's that important. He's that good and that important to them, and Liverpool are gonna get that much better. So I want to give respect to like the at least the top 6. I think that race was really competitive. Not the championship race. Arsenal gracefully bowed out in January like they usually do, and Liverpool kind of coasted from there. But Arsenal kind of coasted in second, but like under there, like 3 to 7, it was a rat race. Those teams are good. So I'll respect them. I can't guarantee a championship, but like you said, that front 3, we have 1 so far. Let's get the other 2. And if we do,
I'm already counting Mbeumo.
I think that's like a plus 30 in our goal difference. Like we'll score 30 more goals than we did last year, sorry.
Yeah.
So
I'm already counting the Mbeumo. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna count it. It's gonna get done. So I'm already counting. He doesn't want to go to Newcastle. So unless United pull out of the race, which I don't see happening. Like, Amorim wants him. They're going to get him. But I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm counting Mbeumo. I would rather just count the Gyökeres one for me is a little more. It's like, Ben Jacob said it. Will another team come in and get him before we do? That's the only worry for me.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm sure there's another striker out there. Osman only has 5 days to accept this deal. Napoli turned down the first deal today. The first approach today, so they only have 5 days to get that one done. Ronaldo saying, "What are you guys' dream goalkeeper to sign? I would like Unai Simon. He's a good goalkeeper. I'll let you take that, Ronaldo. Who would you prefer as a goalkeeper?
My dream goalie. Honestly, I know about the names. I haven't done all the homework like the guys like Lemens and Chevalier who play in I think France. Those are like the young up and comers that a lot of the teams are trying to seal up. I'll have to see the video, of course, but those are some top names. Zion Suzuki was someone we should have gone for, who would be like $30 million more expensive now than he was before. As far as the vets go, I don't know if I doubt we could pry away Jan Oblak. I like him a lot for Atletico. He would be my dream, but I don't think getting him is in a reality. A rumor that's coming through is Emi Martinez. I wouldn't mind Emi Martinez at all. I don't know. I guess people get tied up with his quote unquote antics, but shithousery is a part of the game, and he's one of the best at it right now in a long time. And he could keep. People forget. You remember that save at the end of extra time, 1-on-1 with Kolomwani? That's big keeper stuff. I mean, that's the kind of mentality you kind of want in your locker room, especially now. You want winners in your locker room, right?
Yeah.
I think Emi Martinez won a World Cup. You want a golden glove, and he's a really good prem. There's another prem-proven player. So, he's not my dream. Oblak's my dream, but I think that the closest to reality might be him or one of the young guys.
I got an idea floating around.
Anyway,
I got an idea floating around, and it looks like Garcia's going to Barca, right?
Yeah.
And Szczesny has just signed a new deal at Barcelona. Do you think Sturgeon, who is only 33 years old, do you think he's going to be happy sitting on the bench?
No, absolutely not. He's going somewhere else. And
then why not go get him?
Yeah, that could.
Barcelona want
the money. Yeah.
Barcelona want Rashford.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Why not do a cut deal? Is he willing to come in?
I know a lot of people saying, "Oh, we have to go young on a goalie." I mean, I don't necessarily think so. Let's do now. We apparently have a guy in the academy that's pretty good. I don't know if it's Henderson is his name. I think he's 18 years old. He's like the next big thing for goalies in our academy. We could get a 30-something-year-old. They could keep to like 5 years. Goalkeeper, they kind of fade like close to 40, right? I mean, and he's 33. That's prime. Kind of coming to the end of a goalie. I wouldn't mind.
Real quick, Rajat is saying, will Gyökeres come here without European competition, only Premier League and local? Yes. So according to Ben Jacobs today, Gyökeres is willing to come to Manchester United even without Champions League football this year. I'm assuming that they're going to promise him Champions League football next year. And I honestly feel like if they're selling him Champions League football without Cunha and Mbeumo, I could see why he'll be like a little hesitant. Probably not. But when you go out and spend on 2 number 10s to sit right behind him and feed him, because I don't know if any of you guys seen it. Have you seen the impasses that Cunha and Mbeumo make? Some of them are out of the world, and they're going to feed Gyökeres like crazy.
And, just the attention that Gyökeres will get, too, that will create space for those guys. It could be madness.
Yeah, and then you got Ahmed running at them, too. So, yeah, it's going to create madness next year. Stephanie saying goalkeeper needed to be experienced with strong mentality to cope with playing for Man United. Yeah. And that's why I think the Barca goalie could be a good fit. You said a good point there, Ronaldo, that everyone wants a young goalkeeper. Eden van der Sar was 34 when he joined Man United.
Exactly.
34 years old.
Don't bring it up, don't be a merchant of the past, but it is what it is. I mean, Van der Sar was world class when he was young, and he aged like fine wine. That was one of our best deals.
And who was he playing for before Man United? Fulham.
Fulham, and before that it was like Juve.
He played for Juve, and then they blamed him for a penalty kick miss or something in the Champions League, and that's why he ended up going to Fulham. But still, a world-class goalkeeper is a world-class goalkeeper. There's parts of me that wish David De Gea would have signed David De Gea on a short-term deal and kept him on the bench for Nana, you know what I mean? Because he was only 30 when he left Man United. 31.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
He should have taken the pay cut and stayed. I don't know why.
He was wanting huge money.
Yeah, he should have taken the pay cut and stayed. But, he was on sabbatical for a year and he got a job now. So, all good for him.
Yeah, Rajat saying Gyökeres apologies. Will he get more than 200k if he joins? No, he won't get more than 200k. I think he'll be on about 200. United are not. Mbeumo's not on 250. Like I've seen so many reports that he's asking for 250, but then I've seen big people coming out like Ben Jacobs saying that that's far from the mark. So
I think if he triples his Brentford wage, it's 150,000.
Yeah. So Stephanie's saying, "See you soon, guys. Gotta go get some sleep. Good night." Where are you living? Oh, you did say good morning, so you must be pretty far away. But thank you for stopping in, Stephanie. Go get some sleep. Casey saying at this point we should just focus on getting a good, confident goalkeeper. Age shouldn't matter. You're right. You're right. Unai Emery, Casey. Not Unai Emery. Emi Martinez. I know you don't like him. It's madness that Gyökeres is even on the table. Cheese is saying, yeah. What is madness is the backing that this board is giving him is insane. To be honest, when we didn't make the Champions League, looking back on it now, though, I'm kind of glad we didn't make the Champions League, right? You're talking about, we were thinking about, we haven't got the money. We just signed Cunha. We're about to sign in Mbeumo. It looks like Gyökeres is coming. All of this without Champions League, that Champions League money. Yeah. And also, this guy's going to have one game a week to pump into this team. And if you've got fresh legs of those three up front, while everyone else is playing in Europe, look at Forest this year, guys. Look at Forest. And look what happened to them when the Premier League teams came out of Europe. They dropped down. Yes, they got a couple of injuries, but it was more to do with the fresh legs of those top teams. And that's why I'm confident top 5 next year. Top 5, I'm very, very confident if we get Gyökeres.
I'll give you a conspiracy theory I heard today. And honestly, I thought about it like the night after the loss and the next day. I was like, what if Amorim really like took a knee in the final? I mean, playing Mason Mount, some of the guys he started and stuff, and the late subs and stuff. Maybe he just took the knee and said, you know what, maybe we don't need this.
Yeah.
I think it's a crazy thing and an expensive thing to do, but part of me was saying, you know what, I'm gonna try it this way with Shaw and those guys, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Less pressure on him too. Less pressure on him. And he did say in an interview afterwards, like, "Hey, this might be a blessing."
Yeah, he was really upfront with it. Even before, he's like, winning doesn't mean anything. It helps, but it's still not gonna really like dress up our season. And
it doesn't rip the band.
That's just Man U standards. You have to ever say those things.
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah, he means it. He's like, we need if we want to improve, we need to probably just peel the Band-Aid off.
Absolutely. Talking about number 8, like we were saying before, if we'll touch on sales in a minute, because that's one of our subjects. If we can get some sales going through, and we get Gyökeres, like I said, I'm already counting in Mbeumo. I'm already counting those chickens. If we can get Gyökeres, if we have enough money left over, who is because we've got to remember, Bruno's going to be playing in that 8 position. So we're going to want to get a young, talented player. Yeah. Would you guys go out and get a number 8, or would you let Kone come in and learn under Bruno in that 8? Or would you rather spend the money on a goalkeeper and maybe a right wing, another backup right wing back? What's your thoughts? Because we're not going to go out and get Wharton, because then there's no room for Bruno, and Bruno might as well have just left. What's your guys' thoughts? Who is out there that's young, talented, that's willing to sit on the bench for most of the game, for most of the season? Mr. Green, I'll start with you.
In terms of Wharton and 𝗈𝗡, it'll take a miracle to get them this year, but I think they might be available next year too. So maybe we could see out the season with Bruno as the 8 and let Mbeumo be the sub for Bruno and get him games to get more acclimated to being the 8 in this system. That's what I think might be the cheapest and the more sustainable way to do it, and try to get a CDM that could be a little better on the ball and distribute the ball from the defense better, because that's not Ugarte's strength.
It's not his strength.
Receiving the ball and stuff, that's not his strength. Maybe we need to get someone else like a CDM, but that's and Ugarte could be a squad player, an expensive one, but he could be a squad player. We get somebody like
but we have Collier. Remember, Collier did.
We talk about Aston Villa. They have financial problems. Maybe we could prize Boubacar Kamara out their hands.
Kamara, I like that. I always butcher names, but Onana, I think his name is, from West Ham.
Yeah.
Big, strong kid, probably get him on the cheap. And then we got Casemiro, right? Who I don't think is going anywhere. So now you're going to have Casemiro, who, you know, in his own right, kind of redeemed himself towards the end of the season. You know, he's fit. He doesn't look like that pudgy baby anymore. And you know, and I think, you know, Ruben injects some of that youth in there, and I think Kone does come up, and I think he stays up this time, and I think he's the understudy to Bruno, Casemiro, and you know, you got 4 that you could play in there now with Ugarte in the mix as well. And you know, don't forget we got Martinez, Leisha coming back.
Did you hear the news about this? I don't know if anyone heard this. He looks like it actually looks like he might be back for preseason and to be ready for September. It's insane.
Yeah, I heard that. Then I heard someone say, no, it'll be too soon. I think it might be too soon. Maybe he still travels and trains lightly, but
yes, that's what the thought is. He comes back for preseason, doesn't play, trains, goes on the preseason trains, but then is ready for the end of September, beginning of October.
Yeah, I mean, I think that getting him on the tour would be great. You need a veteran presence on a tour, and especially since we're trying to build something new. You know, he's expected back. You know, he's on contract for a few years, so he's going to be with the program basically. So good news that they think he'll be able to train at least on tour. So that means the recovery is going good because it was a major injury, as we all know.
Yep. So the chat is saying Ronaldo is saying, I can never pronounce this name, Hojlund from Sporting. Huncho11. Welcome, Huncho11. Appreciate you coming in and putting in the chat. Mano Kone from Roma. Watched him against Spain and he was very class. Rajat saying exactly the same thing. Here's my thoughts, right, guys? Why go buy somebody? Why? It does. I'm 90% sure Casemiro is still going to be here next year. If Saudi team was going to pick him up, they would have picked him up ready for the Club World Cup. So I don't see Casemiro leaving. I just don't. I think he's going to play out the last year of his deal. So you've got Casemiro to sit in there to play. You've got Kone to sit in there. You've got Bruno. I think not Ahmed. Who was the other one you said that could play the 8?
Collier.
Collier usually plays the 6. He's a CDM.
Yes. I would actually, you know what?
Kone and Mbeumo.
I'd throw Mbeumo in there as well.
Well, honestly, I would maybe Mbeumo as a 10 though, because you got Mount, right? Mount's gonna be a backup.
Good on the off game, but I think the 8 might be.
Yeah, but does he have he's not a box-to-box midfielder for me.
Not yet.
Not yet. You're right. And maybe you're right. Maybe not going out and getting anyone and having him sit and learn that position. And that's what I tell you what, guys. I'm so freaking
him
excited.
And Kone together would be dynamite.
Yeah.
That is like all possession. That's like we own the ball kind of football. If we could get those two to work, because Kone is like a mix of a 6 and an 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you watch Mbeumo's highlights, he's a good ball winner.
Yeah.
Right? There aren't too many 50-50 balls that he doesn't, come away with.
That's true. Yep. It's just his pace and his intensity he has to work on.
Yeah. So for me, like I think we've got enough depth in that 8th position. I think we've got enough depth in the 6. Casemiro can play a couple of games. Collier could play a couple of games. Yeah. I think Ugarte would be good. 111 saying Mbeumo, Kone, and Wharton next year as soon as possible. Imagine those two with Mbeumo. Fire, dude. Absolutely fire. I think we've got to get Champions League to even think about getting those two next year, though. We have to get Champions League to even think about getting those two. Those two players are going to be fantastic. I think we got to get just let everyone know there's 28 people in here watching right now. Please give a thumbs up, hit the share button, and hit a like button. Much appreciated. Anyone that does that, it does go a long way. The algorithm. Just let everyone know there's 28 people in here. But let's talk sales, guys. Give a thumbs up, it looks like, and before we do that, actually, Mr. Green, you were telling me some interesting news before this about Sir Jim and how we've got enough money. Do you want to go ahead and tell the audience
let's talk sales,
what you were telling me,
it looks like, and before we do that, actually, Mr. Green, you were telling me some interesting news before this about Sir Jim and how we've got enough money. Do you want to go ahead and tell the audience?
Heard from the Athletic. What he's done is he started up a subsidiary company, RFL, Reds Football Limited, and it's a subsidiary to Manchester United PLC. So if you look at the losses in 23-24, Man United lost 130 million, whereas Reds Football Limited only lost 36.2 million. And if you break it down over the years to this year alone, Reds Football Limited essentially eliminates all the losses from Manchester United PLC. So at the end of the day, yeah, Manchester United is set to lose 140 million or whatever they say this year, but that gets nulled and void. So we can actually spend 141 million pounds more than the 125 that Man United is saying that we only have to spend, and we will still be well within the PSR rules. Yeah. So it's a manipulation of the books, two different companies. One's making money, one's not making money. I used to work for an integrated forest company up here in the wild north. And, you know, sometimes we would pay a hell of a lot more for wood chips than another pulp mill would from another sawmill, right? So it's all based on who has to do well at certain times. And, you know, there's that, plus the money that we're making from Sancho, from that Gyökeres kid at Benfica, you know, his 260 million cash injection. Man United is a lot better off than they're letting on.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Again, guys, I really do apologize about the audio. I know it's a bit echoey. I am working on it. If you guys do hear, like I am trying to adjust my mic, if you guys do hear a little bit different, please let me know as we're talking through this. I'm trying to adjust it right now, so I do apologize, guys. And I'll try not to be too close to the mic. With that being said, Anthony. Multiple teams coming in for Anthony by the looks of it. We've got 𝙈𝙊𝙍𝙀. I know 𝗦𝗶𝗴𝗍 today just signed one of their best players for 30 million. So that looks like they'll be able to spend that money on him. Plus they have Champions League football. Am I correct? Did they get Champions League football?
Ooh, Leverkusen?
No, 𝗦𝗊𝗍.
That's Easton.
Oh, no, they're, I think they're Europa League again.
Oh, so even so they did. So that means that they're going to have European money on top of the 30 million. So it looks like they'll probably be able to come in for him. There are crazy reports out there that Bayern Munich are looking at him. So it looks like we could probably get 35, maybe 40 million a push for Anthony. This could very well pay for the Gyökeres deal. How soon do you see Anthony going, Mr. Green? You see him going soon? I personally believe it will be after the 15th. Is it the 16th or the 15th that the next window opens up?
16th. It closes for a week, I believe.
Yeah. So I believe it will be after. But you know, who do you see him going to? And do you feel like those reports of 35 to 40 million correct?
Yeah, I heard 45 million from Leverkusen, and I think it's all going to hinge on the Wirtz deal to Liverpool. And I think he's going to go to Leverkusen because that's where Ten Hag is, right? So, and the thing is, this will be the third time that Ten Hag signs Anthony. So I honestly, it's either that or Napoli. I think he fits in better with Napoli than he does with Bayer Leverkusen, but I just think the connection with Ten Hag is there. He is, you know, he did light it up in Spain. So I think it gets done before the end of June. If Wirtz is sold, look for a couple days after Wirtz is sold that you're going to see that Anthony to Bayer Leverkusen. I think that's where he's going.
Yeah. Ronaldo, what's your thoughts?
That makes a lot of sense. I just hope Wirtz goes to Bayern Munich instead of Liverpool. Yeah, that's the only part I'll debate there. But yeah, I think it's possible. I know Batiste probably really want him the most, but they have the least. So you know, it might be a highest bidder situation if these, you know, if the Leverkusen links and the Munich links are true and Napoli, they might be able to pay more than Batiste. So I mean, if the interest is genuine, that's a great thing for us, you know.
And then Chelsea apparently keeps coming into the conversation with Anthony as well.
If it ain't nailed down, they'll buy it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so real quick, guys. I think I figured it out. And guys, let me know if it's echo again. I think I've just figured out why. I just got a new camera, and I think I forgot to turn the mic off on the camera. So I think that's why. So let me know if the sound is fixed. Hopefully it has. So that's good news. Rajat saying Mbeumo can play 10. He typically plays win. He will be playing the 10. 𝙈𝗶𝗴, welcome in 𝙈𝗶𝗴 with a chat. Cheeto could be loaned too. His decision making needs to be improved. I personally believe it depends on if Rasmus goes. If Rasmus goes, we need another striker. We can't rely on Gyökeres all season, even though we're playing a game a week. Thank you guys for letting me know. That sound's gone. On camera. But yeah, I think if we can get another striker in, but that's the problem, right? If you get another striker in, you're gonna have to ask that striker to sit in behind Gyökeres. For me, you're right. I think Cheeto needs to go to the champion. He'll toughen up real good in that champion.
Kone too, but yeah, that'll be good for Cheeto.
Yeah.
I hold the view that if we do sell Rasmus, Cheeto has no pressure. I mean, he just sit back and learn from Gyökeres because, you know, like you said, we're playing one game a week. How much rest is Gyökeres really going to need? You know, I mean, the only risk is, God forbid, he gets hurt. We don't have another experienced one. You know, we'll have to rely on Cheeto.
For me, I would keep.
Then again, we have Xerxes still. We're forgetting we have Xerxes, and Xerxes not going anywhere.
No, I think Xerxes is going to be a backup 10.
A 10? Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he could play. I think he could play the 9, especially with the runners we have.
Yeah.
If we have Mbeumo and Cunha, he could be like the perfect false 9. And like one Dutchman too late. Because like if we had, imagine if Xerxes like made it and he was in 10 Hags, you know, and we had Xerxes instead of Weghorst. How better will we be with Xerxes and Rashford playing together? I think about that a lot.
I'm also inclined to keep Rasmus Hojlund, right? Because Rasmus Hojlund can be the next Gyökeres for me. He can. If we don't force a 20-year-old kid. If we don't force a 20-year-old kid to be the starting striker for Man United, he's not Wayne Rooney. You sit him, you learn, and he learns from Victor Gyökeres how to play this system, how to hold the ball up. He's fast. He can be physical, unless he decides he wants to sit on the floor. He can bulk up a little bit more. He learns the system. He learns from Gyökeres. What a good 4 years time. 3 years time when Gyökeres maybe moves on, why can't Rasmus learn the system?
Right.
You know, I think he's a perfect person for Rasmus. They're very similar, but Rasmus's decision making isn't quite there yet, and we've seen that. But why can't it be if he sits behind Gyökeres and learns? So for me, I'm not really inclined to sell him. Rashford, he's finished. Stateside Mikey's saying he's finished. He's not finished. He's a 20-year-old kid who has been forced into a very, very difficult situation at Man United. I don't think he's finished at all. And I think maybe sending him out on loan for a year, I think it might be a decent idea. But if we need to sell him, we need to sell him. Move on to Rashford. This one's a tough one because Rashford wants Barcelona. Barcelona, as we know, are in some financial difficulties again. Ronaldo, do you see that deal getting done? Or do you, for me, I personally think he's going to go on loan again.
Not sure. What about who was the player you mentioned again? Sorry,
Rashford.
Rashford. He's gonna loan him. I think
he's gonna get loaned
for cash right now. Cash is king. I think probably Barca exhausting all their options before they settle for Rashford. It's very much Rashford wants them more than they want Rashford. And the only other team I really heard of was Inter. I didn't see the story, but I just, from word of mouth heard that Inter might be interested in Rashford. I'm not sure where. I don't think he's a wing back because like they play two atop. It's usually Thuram and Lautaro. Would he be one of the two, one of those three, or are they selling one of those guys? I don't know. But yeah, it's pickings kind of slim. I don't know who's gonna loan, but it might be that, and well, it won't be Villa because they have PSR issues. So yeah, options look kind of slim for him. No, yeah, I don't like that. If we could all benefit, he could get his move away and we get our cash. Because do you think he's gonna work it out with a coach if he has to stay?
No, I don't. I sent you guys that interview that they had that Sir Jim had the other day, and they were asking him why does he agree with Amorim, and he answered Amorim wants a winning mentality in the dressing room. There's no way on this God's green earth that Anthony, Sancho, and Rashford are on this team now. There's no way. They either get loaned out or they get sold. There's no way that those three players will be at Manchester. Mr. Green, regarding Rashford, what's your thoughts on this one?
I think he goes to Barcelona because of the PSR rules, and in Spain, and the financial. I mean, this isn't new for Barcelona. They've been in financial trouble now for probably 6-7 years. So if we can get 40 million for Rashford, dump him. And I think that's where he ends up. It's he wants it. Barcelona will probably settle for him because they can't afford Luis Diaz from Liverpool. So I think it's Barcelona's plan B to bring something in for their fans, to say, hey, look, yeah, we went out, we got Rashford. I really, Inter needs him after watching him get thrashed by PSG.
Yeah, that was
they could use a big, strong lad like Rashford. The thing is that, I get that Aston Villa, PSR and all that, but if they really wanted him, like if he was really, because they're going to sell some players too, right? Ollie Watkins is on his way out. Rogers, they could make things work, right? But at the end of the day, there's something with Rashford that, he got there, everything was great, he did well for a while. They don't want him.
Yeah.
And to me, I know we talked about the chat, and when you forget what a privilege it is to play professional soccer for a living, B, play soccer for a team like Man United, right? And I think these are the things that Amorim struggles with, right? Because Amorim talks about nobody is better and bigger than the team, right? And you lose respect for the game. You lose respect when you're out partying at nightclubs instead of going to practice. That's not a good representation of professionalism. So for me, just get rid of him. I'm with Amorim on this. You know what I mean? Sancho, he said what he said. He's tweeted what he tweeted. I don't see a way back for him either.
Ronaldo is saying we're likely to get under 42 million for Rashford. Unfortunately, I agree with you. I think it's going to drop to maybe 30, 35.
Yeah. If they're taking on that salary, it's going to have to be a low fee to offset. So,
yeah. Mr. Green, I've got to what's the word? I've got to change something here. I know you're Canadian, but
yes.
It's football, not soccer.
I apologize.
I'm only saying this because goddamn Mikey does his big friend has called it soccer. Not soccer, it's football.
Okay. Football.
I will not say soccer.
Football. I call it football, and I call it American football. You can both be called football. This is the only country in the world that calls it soccer, Mikey. You can't have everything.
There's more one, but let's not go down that road tonight.
No, I'm not. I know. I'm just messing with you. You gotta have fun with Mikey, right? You gotta have fun with Mikey. Ronaldo says, I don't think Rashford is necessarily a striker. He's a winger who can do a job in a striker position. He's not physical like Mbeumo, that like running towards defenders on the wing. Absolutely. Brian is saying 100%. Thank you, Brian. And Mikey's soccer screen stay the course. But yeah, let's move on to Sancho. It's going to be a tough one too. I honestly, we're not going to get as much money for these players as we thought. I really don't. I think I'm willing to let Sancho go for 20, maybe 15 million. If you let him go for 15 million, with the 5 million you just received from Chelsea, you're only making a 5 million loss on what you were going to sell him to Chelsea. So for me, I'm willing to let him to go 15, 20 million just to get the wages off the book, because that's going to save you a lot more money in the long run as well. Ronaldo, are you willing to let him go for 15, 20 million?
Yes, I think this situation needs to be over. That's another one. Speaking about professionalism, I think might be a little more slack than Rashford is.
Oh, it's worse. Way worse, man. It's embarrassing.
So
it's embarrassing now to Sancho. Absolutely embarrassing.
And he doesn't want to take a pay cut. Like, read the room. Who's your agents? These teams are not gonna take on that salary for you. You are not that impactful. Center forward bombing goals in. That's
who is advising you, right? Take that pay cut, prove you're worth the money, then come get it when you're ready for it.
Exactly. Like, even at your best, you're not a 300K player. That was just malfeasance by our last regime.
Well, you know what I think?
No one else was going to pay you that money.
Yeah, it's these people that made these deals, right? Wherever they're working now, they should have to cover some of Sancho's salary, right?
Yep.
Rashford's salary. You know what I mean? So that they don't make these, these mistakes in the future, and the people that are there right now don't make these mistakes.
Who was it that made the deals for them?
It wasn't Arnold and Murtaugh.
Murtaugh. Was it Murtaugh? Yeah, Arnold. I know one of them's back in football.
Was it a Woodward deal?
Yeah, I know. I think Arnold's back in football. I know somewhat he's back in football somewhere. Yeah,
I thought he was going to rugby. Good for him.
Yeah.
But
regarding more sales, like, is there anybody else on the team? We already touched on Casemiro. I really don't see Casemiro going anywhere.
Yeah.
No,
it'll be a miracle. I want to say a miracle, but I'll be very surprised. I guess we might have to sell Bayern there cheap, especially if we're looking to get an experienced keeper to kind of compete with Onana, who I don't think we could sell this year either.
No.
No. Somebody give Jan Sommer a call.
Well, it looks like
we should have given Jan Sommer a call a long time ago.
Absolutely.
Well, it looks like as of right now, Villa want 25 Martinez.
Yep. I think we have to sell to do that, right?
Yes, we're gonna have to 100% sell to that one, and that you could probably do with a Sancho deal if we can get it. Honestly, 𝙈𝗶𝗴 too. That's another player that we got to get out the door. Another bad signing from Ten Hag. It's amazing how many bad signings Ten Hag.
I won't call it so bad. It just worked out bad because he destroyed his knee. We only paid 15 million for him, so and the games he played, he looked promising, I think.
Oh, he got absolutely rinsed by Harry Kane in the game against Tottenham.
That's Harry Kane, though.
It's Harry Kane at 32.
It's Harry Kane. Oh, come
on. So, Ronaldo saying will not sell Sancho. He'll run out his contract. He'll turn down Chelsea. He only has a year left on his contract. Brian saying 𝙈𝗶𝗴. StateSide Casemiro stays. I do believe he stays. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I really don't think it's a bad thing. Wages-wise, yes. But other than that, I don't think it's a bad thing. 𝗈𝗊𝗍 saying freedom to USA. Sancho, here we go.
Enter Miami.
I don't think Miami could afford his wages.
No, nobody can.
No.
Who's going to pay him $300,000 a week?
Well, that's the thing. If we get rid of him for 15, right? If you get rid of him you let him go for 15, that 10 million that the club will save will cover that. Will cover his wages.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like, but now saying under 5 million for 𝙈𝗶𝗴. Yes, I would absolutely take 5 million for 𝙈𝗶𝗴.
Yeah.
There's just
I
no
think
room
we should charge higher than that. I think 10 million. He's 10 million. I think let's not rob ourselves.
Yeah. I'm just looking at getting the players out the door for me, and we've got enough backup on the left now. We've got three left wingers, left wing backs. We've got 2 right wing backs. If you can call Ahmed a right wing back, I'd probably bring in another one. We've got plenty of midfielders, plenty of 10s now with the 2 signings. The only thing that we're really light on is probably the striker position. If Rasmus goes, and then I would also say maybe another young centre back, to learn, because obviously 𝙈𝙊𝙍. I don't think he's going to be, as much as I love 𝙈𝙊𝙍, I don't think he's going to be the long-term future for Manchester United. Martinez, I don't think he's just, which is such a shame because he just got back into form and then he got injured again. So for me, probably that. But other than that, like, we're pretty good. CDM, like, again, we were talking earlier, you got Collier, Casemiro, Ugarte. I don't think we need to rush out and go get a new CDM right now. Save the money, let the young players take it over, and then use that extra money for next season to go get a Wharton, go get a Kone, if we make the Champions League. Because I'm telling you, those 2 players alone are going to cost you over 100 million just for those if you go get those 2 players. So for me, save the money, bring the kids through, use what you've got. Casemiro is going to be a big help next year because he's not going to be playing every game. Hopefully he can stay as fit. Any more kind of sales for you guys that you would be looking to move out of the door?
How much do you think we could get for 𝙈𝙊𝙍?
30.
I think we could get 30 million for 𝙈𝙊𝙍, 25, 30.
Yeah, because I think nobody's talking about that. You just mentioned, his professionalism, whatever, which is very valuable. Sorry, I shouldn't say it like that. But I think he's just a fullback, and we need wing backs. I think he might be a victim of the system. Like, he might not really excel in it, and he has a clutch gene. He throws a clunk of hair in there too. So it might just,
He's not great, but he's not bad.
Yeah.
And he's had 2 really good games for Portugal. Like, he is but you're right, Ronaldo.
He might have to go to a back 4 or something, a team with a back 4 instead.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we could get 30 million for him.
Yeah, because you got Maz, right? We forgot about Maz, who can play the right centre back, can also play the right wing back, play the left wing back. Just real quick, 𝙈𝙊𝙍 is saying very little chance. Sorry, 𝙈𝙊𝙍 is saying very little chance of signing Gyökeres. Only see Mateta as a possibility. I'm not sure if you saw the news today, 𝙈𝙍𝙍. Ben Jacobs is saying that that Gyökeres is willing to go to Manchester United, especially now that Arsenal are going to go for Sesko. One of the things that I've loved in the last 2 days since the Mbeumo deal is watching Newcastle and a lot of other fan chat have a complete fucking meltdown. Absolute meltdown. But I watched an Arsenal channel today, and every single person on there says Gyökeres is going to Manchester United. They all believe Gyökeres will go to Manchester United. And the fact that Ben Jacobs is saying it, Ben Jacobs is a very reputable journalist. And if he's saying it, and then everybody else is reporting on it today, it really does look like Gyökeres will go. It is going to be dependent on Manchester United making sales. So very, very high chance that Gyökeres does come to Manchester United this summer.
It's on Man United right now.
It's on Manchester United, yeah.
Yeah, the last report I heard, it's up to the club. They want him, go get him.
Yeah, and United are going to go. They've already said a number 9 is a priority. After the Mbeumo deal, the number 9 is the priority.
Absolutely. And you know what? How do you turn $140 million loss into $140 million profit? You start winning football games.
Yeah.
Good thinking. How did Man United get all that money, huh?
By winning everything.
That's how United got their money. So
yep.
Yeah.
Any more news from you guys that I may have missed today? Anything you guys want to talk about?
No, that was the main stuff, the only stuff today, and just more speculation. Or have silly season, so long summer.
My 3 dream goalies, though, Sean. So,
Yeah.
I will say number 1, Donnarumma.
Mm.
Number 2, and I'm not even going to try and say his name, is that Georgian goalkeeper from Valencia.
He's at Liverpool. He's going to Liverpool, man.
He's going to Liverpool, unfortunately. And number 3, after watching Portugal, Germany, is Diogo Costa from Porto.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a pricey one. He's good. He's good.
Yeah.
Yep. Tobias is saying, if it's not from Ornstein, I don't trust Jacob.
Yeah, Ornstein is the tier 1 of ones.
Ornstein is the tier 1. He is the Man United guy. But there are talks out there that, you know, Ornstein says Arsenal could lose Gyökeres to Manchester United today. He has said that. So he hasn't come out and said what Ben Jacobs said, but he has said Arsenal could lose Gyökeres to United. I said that. Stateside, Mikey is saying Ben is my source. My source told me this morning before we cast Ben. But yeah, and then Ronan saying, to be honest, if Casemiro leaves, we'll need 2 midfielders, one to complement Brune and another to partner Ugarte. Hopefully Seko Kone can be one of them. I agree with you, and trust me, I love Seko Kone. My problem with that is being able to afford him this year. Not only that, you're talking about, we said earlier, all those teams coming back from, they're all coming back from the World Cup. They're all going to have a lot of money. Is somebody else going to go for him?
No, he's talking about our own Seko Kone.
Okay, yeah. My bad. I thought he meant the
not Manu Kone, yeah, Seko Kone.
Yeah,
that would be great if he's ready for the big time. You know, I think he's definitely going on tour, and yes. I guess after the tour we'll make a decision if to loan him out or see if he could, be part of the squad.
Amarin's first full season at Sporting, 7 youth players got moved up to the first team.
Yeah,
and we need that guy to receive the ball from the defense and move the line afterwards. That's the kind of guy, that kind of profile. That'd be great to pair with Bruno or anyone in this team. Another 8, you know.
He's a really slick passer.
Yes,
like a really slick passer.
He got good evading skills, a little dribble to get out of trouble.
Yeah,
I'm talking with some people and say, well, he makes mistakes, and I tell people, when you're playing with U18s, I think he's making mistakes is because the other players aren't on his level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's feeding balls on where he thinks the player should be. And on the first team, they probably will be. And his players are just not there mentally with him. Do you know what I mean? They're not on the same length as him. Some people are advanced, and I think Kone is one of them.
Yeah, I think he's really advanced, and I think he's physical. He's shown that in the under-21s. A couple of more comments. Welcome, Ash. Thanks for the comment. And Booms will be here. Here we go, June 6th. So we're talking tomorrow. I hope that. Warlord DK, again, thank you for the chat and welcome in. Do you really think Gyökeres will be worth it in the Premier League? Cunha, sure. Mbeumo, most likely, but Gyökeres has been in the Prem before. Yes, I do agree with that. I do think he'll be good in the Premier League. The reason why I think that is he's been in the Premier League before. He's been in the Championship. He didn't do badly at Coventry. He didn't do badly in the Championship. But he's also had a couple of years now and gone away and matured and become a better striker. The fact that he's played in the Championship before, I don't think he played in the Premier League. He played for Brighton, right? And I don't think he actually played a game. So I don't think he's played in the Premier League. So going away and coming back, I'm not going to compare him to some big name players out there, but have gone away and come back. But I think going away and maturing, and let's not forget he did it in the Champions League. A lot of those goals came in the Champions League, so I honestly think he can do it in the Premier League. No, if I'm wrong, I'm actually more inclined to think that Gyökeres can do it in the Premier League over Benjamin Sesko, to be honest with you.
Just watch the game versus Man City, Sporting in the Champions League.
Yeah. Was Khan, thank you for the chat. It says Soma from Inter Goalkeeper. Do we really want to buy another Inter Goalkeeper?
Yeah, I know he could keep. His near post was on fire after that Champions League.
It was
after that Champions League fire.
We're
hitting some rifles by him in the near post. I don't know.
StateSideReds abandoned him in that final. That was rough to watch for him.
It was. When was the last time a team got beat that bad in Champions League final? I don't think I've ever seen it in my lifetime.
4-0 AC Milan over Barca, like 95. That was the record they broke. That was the record PSG broke.
Yeah.
So that was like what, 30 years ago? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah,
Long
I
time.
was 12 at the time. So, pronounced Gyökeres.
Gyokeres.
I pronounce it wrong. I was pronouncing Mbeumo wrong at some point too, man. I apologize. I'm not great with names. Wascon says he'll smash the EPL. LOL. Tobias is saying Onana was from Inter too. Let me just touch on this real quick, right? So we saw how good Onana was at Inter. He had a lot of people at Inter where he could come forward. That they played a high line. Do you think Onana could be better next year with the fact that he'll have Cunha, Gyökeres, and Mbeumo to be able to take control of that ball better when he's pinging it forward? Do you think he could be better next year? He's not going to be under so much pressure in his own half so much. Do you think it's worth giving Onana one more year, knowing that he'll have a better team in front of him next year who could score goals, and he'll also have people? Because when he pinged the ball forward this year, there was no one to hold it up, right? He would go to Rasmus Hojlund. Rasmus Hojlund would lose control instantly, and then it'd come back his way. Cunha and Mbeumo and Gyökeres can all hold the ball up very well. Do you think keeping him for another year, this could be his redemption year?
Yes, in the offensive respect of his game. He still has, I mean, he'll see less shots, but some of his like big problems I have with him is his technique. I mean, I don't feel like he gets down to the ground low enough, fast enough. Looks like he jumps over the ball sometimes. And then you have a calamity in between there. So I don't want to. It's gonna be hard to sell him, so you're gonna have to be stuck with him. But it's at what level, I guess, if we get a better keeper and let Onana be the sub, or ride it out for just one more year. But maybe it will dress up his resale value a little bit. Marginally, if he has a quiet season, masked by us, better offensive team, and maybe we could sell him next year. So
yeah, just a couple of the people were saying, Warlord saying the problem with Onana isn't his ball control or long balls forwards, it's his massive mistakes in goal. He cost us so many games. Huncho is saying at Ronaldo, we have two cams in Mbeumo and Cunha, and both Bruno and Ahmed will join them. We need a striker who will stay much further up the pitch and not drop and let them handle the creativity. Osman is off the table. I'm 99.9% sure that guy is going Saudi League, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be done by Monday. Ash is saying it's not his passing that worries me, it's the goalkeeping abilities are below par. I agree with you, and I also agree with Ronaldo. One of my there's two frustrations with me with Onana. This is parrying. He parries the ball straight into the center of defense, and also his ability to come out and collect a cross. He can't read the flight of a ball at all. We saw that when Cunha scored from the corner. We saw that from in the Europa League where the ball went over the top of him and bounced right past him. We saw it numerous times. He just can't come out and collect it. So I agree, but I also am on the other aspect of is like he's been put under so much pressure and so much stress in the Man United defense.
Right.
Maybe, holding him on for a year. I would have Emilio Martinez come in. I think he could do a job for a year or two. Get a younger goalie behind him. Who else we got here? Waskan Onana puts too much pressure on our defenders. Very shaky. You're right. He passes out too slowly. Right. He doesn't get the ball out too quickly. Ronaldo, a decent keeper. Even Pickford from Everton wouldn't have conceded these much. I agree. I think Pickford's a decent goal. I don't think he's a great goalkeeper. He's not world class. He's a decent keeper. He does a good job for England. He looks scared passing to the defenders. Fabrizio, among others, have indicated the Osman Saudi deal is quickly collapsing. Wow, I didn't know that. Gorba, thank you for the chat.
Today. Yeah.
Wow.
And what was the sale price for Osimhen?
Victor Osimhen,
Yeah.
I think it was 65 million euros. That's what they bid, I believe. But let me ask you this: Gyökeres or Osimhen?
I prefer Osimhen a little bit. I like his aerial threat a little more, and the fact that he won it in Italy, it's still, I hold that in high esteem. Gyökeres, he won it in Portugal. Portugal's, a lot of talent there, but Syria is still up there in terms of quality leagues, and he and Kavicha, who just won 5-0 with PSG, they won the Scudetto 2 years ago, and it was a really good dominated campaign, So I wouldn't mind Osimhen, but the problem is salary. And the only reason why I kind of lean a little more Gyökeres is because he played with Ruben before. I think that matters a lot. So, I mean, just on paper, either one would be great. I'll favor Osimhen a little more, but because we have Ruben, I think Gyökeres is the better deal for us.
Yeah, I believe Gyökeres, Gyökeres. Whichever way you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong again. I think he's a better fit for Manchester United, being in the system, playing behind 210s that know how to play the system, and also knows Amarin's ball. I think it's a better deal for Manchester United. Wes Khan, you can't be a good goalkeeper if you cannot judge the flight of a ball, like you stated. You're absolutely correct. I don't. Actually saying Nana is shite. We need to pin him. Wes Khan, Gyökeres all day for me, but I would take Osimhen. Yeah, I would take either of them, to be honest. Like, if you could get one of them in, I still both think, but I honestly believe both of those players could score 25 goals.
I think so too.
Absolutely. Ronaldo, similar play style, but Gyökeres, but he did UCL play the system better than Osimhen, but I'll take Osimhen if we don't get Gyökeres. Absolutely. Warlord Decay, we need a striker that can break down and establish low block defense. United have struggled to do that. Who that would be, I don't know, but we need to find a striker doesn't depend on counterattacks.
I think the 210s, Cunha and Mbeumo helps break down. They will help break down the lower blocks.
Yeah. And then Ahmed on the right too. Exactly.
You got
Mbeumo going out this way, and then you got Ahmed coming in this way. It's gonna drag that defense all over the place.
And Bruno's gonna be in the mix up there too. So
yeah.
The only edge that Osimhen has on Gyokeres, I don't even know how to say the name. Somebody should ask him one time. Put it on.
Honestly, there'll be a video out there where he pronounces it fast.
Is the aerial game. Osimhen in the air is way better than Gyökeres.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so when you're trying to break down defenses that are parking the bus, then you move the ball out to the wings and you cross it in.
Yeah, so the big boys jump up.
Yeah, right. So
that's prem ball. Huh? That's any big boy ball. Just line up in the air. Let's see who gets it.
But yeah, that's so that's all we have for tonight, guys. I appreciate everyone stopping in. Again, as of right now, I believe we have a show tomorrow.
Oh yes, West Coast boys.
Yeah, I think we got the West Coast boys. Again, guys, we got 35 watchers in here as of right now. Please hit the thumbs up. Please hit the subscribe button if you have not. We are a weekly channel. We have Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and now Fridays. We will be working on weekend deals as well. And then also, anybody in here in the chat, any new people, we are an interactive channel. If you do want to come on the show, our email is at the bottom. Please send us an email. We'd love to have you on the show. Love to get you. Mr. Green here. He is a regular now, and he was one of our first people. So please, if you want to come on the show, we would love to have you. Send us an email, and then we can get something set up for you guys to come on the show. Other than that, hopefully we'll see you tomorrow with the new West Coast boys. And then back on Monday for The South Has Something to Say with Mikey and Aldo. Other than that, guys, thank you very much. What an awesome show. And we'll see you tomorrow. Go on, peace out.
Have a good night, fellas.
Peace.
Up the red.